Well, here it is. This is what 56 bales of hay look like. Thank you to my friends over at Green Chef for sponsoring today's video and giving me all the money I need to buy all this hay. It was kind of fun using my tractor and the bale grabbers to move all the hay around. So you see, I got these bale grabbers 3 weeks ago, and basically it hooks up to the hydraulics on the tractor, and so with the push of a button I can open and close these things and they can hug it, and it's like playing claw game. I was able to get them moved pretty well. I'm still very clumsy and I'm still very much learning how to do all this. I'm definitely a beginner, but for the most part they came out pretty a-okay. I think there were only 2 bales that I significantly ripped in a meaningful way. So there was this one right here. I'm not too worried about it. I'll probably end up using those 2 bales as mulch hay for the geese. Pablo is definitely curious about what's going on here. Now you can see all of this hay. It's quite a lot of hay. It's you know, roughly 35 tons of hay that I have just sitting right here. You're probably wondering what's going on. Why would I need this much hay? Especially given that on our farm right now, all we have is ducks and geese and chickens. But my plan is to add some new cattle to the mix here. I mean, it's movable, but it's pretty heavy. That's why having the tractor really comes in handy when I have to move this big a bale of hay. And I'll probably have to feed these pretty much every couple of days when it gets to be winter time.
We're getting to the end of September, and I know a lot of you guys are wondering where my cattle are at. And, well, let me explain. So I had some very big and ambitious plans this year for our farm, and quite possibly the biggest and most ambitious plan for the year was to add cattle to the farm. You see, I really believe that the next step in phase and growth for our farm is going to be when we actually zero in and start raising cattle for beef, and more specifically, we start raising cattle for beef jerky. While raising ducks and geese has been a very good business for us, and I intend to continue doing it, I do realize that if I want to scale up and grow our farm larger and have something that can really support my wife and me, I need to have a business that offers more potential, and particularly a business that offers a product that I can ship. And given the type of land that we have, as well as given the climate that we live in, raising cattle for beef is a pretty good business to get into. I had plans to add 6 Scottish Highlander cattle to the farm, and the goal was to actually have them show up on the farm late August, early September. You know, back in August I had that long trip out to the Bahamas for work, and so I knew I didn't want to have them showing up before then, but I wanted to actually try to have them on the farm immediately thereafter. You see, the plan was I was actually going to buy my friend's herd of Scottish Highlander cattle, but unfortunately there's been a whole bunch of complexity that's popped up with that one, and really, out of the respect of the friendship, I don't even really want to talk about it here in this video. But the net conclusion is it doesn't look like I'm going to be buying his cattle anytime soon. And for me, that presents a problem. You see, my business plans and what I wanted to try to do with this cattle, beef, and beef jerky business was actually add the animals this fall, start raising them through the year, butcher an animal or 2 next fall, and really start selling product by the end of 2022. So admittedly, now I am scrambling, because as you saw, I've got, I don't know, about 35 tons of hay sitting at the farm. I've got the setup and space and everything organized to accept cattle, and I lack the cattle. Which brings me to my mission today. I'm heading out to a farm on the other side of the state, actually an island in the middle of Lake Champlain to be exact, to look at a herd of Scottish Highlander cattle. There's a farmer out there who's looking to downsize his herd, and I'm hoping to take a couple of animals from him. So I figured I would bring you guys along and let you look at the cattle with me and see what happens. Because as the title of this video indicates, I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with 35 tons of hay, especially if I don't have any cattle this winter.
That's another nice one right over there.
Okay. Yeah.
Another heifer.
Yeah. You see the white underneath them?
Yeah.
My herd was purebred Highlander when I brought them in here.
And then just what?
I don't know. I brought in some black ones.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they had a, you know, outcast genetic in them. Because Highlanders are not supposed to have white under
Yeah,
their
just
belly.
a little patch there.
But
Yeah.
it don't bother me. I mean,
No,
because-
and again, I'm just looking for animals who can perform well, who can like be settled. You know,
if you want beef jerky, you don't care what their bellies look
you
like.
got it exactly.
But if you're looking for purebred animals, I can't guarantee that. Most of them are pretty close.
Nope, totally understand that.
I had the certified papers when I first started, but it cost so much money.
I gotta say, I was very impressed with the cattle I was seeing on this farm. They looked big, they looked healthy, they were entirely grass-fed. You know, the farmer who owned the cattle, he basically was pretty upfront with me that they weren't necessarily registered purebred Highlanders, but for what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to raise them and introduce them, I'm looking for them because I like the breed characteristics, not because I want to get into fancy cow breeding. And so from my vantage point, this was looking like a pretty good situation. The cows were docile, they were friendly, they were not scared or spooked by me or the dogs, and that to me is a good sign that they would fit in really, really well at our farm. Now, before we get back to the farm, let me just take a moment to talk to you about today's video sponsor, Green Chef. Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company that makes eating well easy and affordable with plans to fit every kind of lifestyle. Green Chef lets you choose from a wide array of easy to follow meal kits with select organic ingredients. Recipes are quick and easy with step-by-step instructions, chef tips, and photos to guide you along the way. And you know, what's really great about Green Chef is that there's something for everyone. You know, it's easy to eat well and discover new recipes every week that you'll love to cook. You know, Green Chef offers dishes for a variety of lifestyles too, including vegan, vegetarian, paleo, and keto. They actually sent us a vegetarian box and it was pretty cool. Tonight, I'm making mole carrots with beans and rice and I'm super excited about it. Usually when I'm cooking dinner, I'm winging it with whatever ingredients we have kicking around the farm. Having a special recipe and all of the necessary ingredients right there at my fingertips was a very nice change of pace, and I had fun in the kitchen. If you feel like you might be in a food rut, Green Chef can really help you out. The recipes and kits include pre-made measured sauces, dressings, and spices, so you can get more of those bold flavors in less time. If you're seeing what I'm making here and you want to check out Green Chef for yourself, go to greenchef.us and use promo code GOLDSHAW100 to get $100 off plus free shipping.
So I gotta say, the cattle looked really good. John, the guy who owns the cattle, was a really nice guy, lifelong Vermonter. He was actually born on the farm that we went to. Heck, even the road that his farm is on, as well as the road that leads to the road that his farm is on, are all named after his family. And the cattle that he had, they looked really good. They looked healthy, they were very friendly, they were docile. I could get up close to them and pet them, and they clearly had been handled a bit. Probably not handled as much as I plan on handling them, where they're doing like daily pasture moves and such, but they were not skittish, they were not frightful beasts. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna move on them. Actually, I just got back to the farm and seeing the condition that those cattle were in has me motivated to actually start doing the fencing for what will be the winter paddock. So the winter paddock is gonna go from to the right of where you can see that wood chipper right there, just to the left of that, go all the way around, loop around. It's gonna go up this side. I'm gonna wall off that side of the barn so they can't get underneath where the tractor is gonna go. It'll continue on through up to where you see those hay bales. So the idea would be I take my tractor out of the barn from there, loop around, pick up a bale of hay, drop it right here. They can eat. If the weather gets too cold or inclement or they want to get out of the snow, they can come down underneath here and take refuge. I'll probably have fencing go pretty much right up to that beam right there, right before the miter saw. I have my water over there so I can run a line right to them right over here. And yeah, this is gonna be the winter cow area. I don't know, if things go as planned, I'll even be able to get a couple of weeks of grazing out of them, because I do have this entire pasture over here the one close down by the house, where I could really just let them graze chunks of it for a period of time, and I shouldn't have too many issues. That's generally my plan. And so the fencing that I'm putting in here is gonna wrap around all the way around this edge. I will put up some cattle panels so that they can't go into the top of the barn up there, but they'll have all this area to basically hang out in. And for me, having these bales of hay right here is super handy, because my routine when I have to feed them is gonna be, I basically hop in the tractor in the morning, pull right out. I can come right here and pick up a bale of hay, move it around the corner here, and probably set up a bale feeder, I don't know, somewhere around here, deposit that hay, and then I can drop the tractor back off and I'm done with my tractor work for the morning. Unless of course it's winter and I have to use the snow blower. And so yeah, this whole section becomes the new winter cow housing area. But I know that probably the first few weeks that I have the cattle, I can still have them out on the pasture here grazing. I don't plan on having them on top of the pasture just because I don't have any permanent fencing, but this fencing will do fine for keeping them in here. I'll have to fence off the trees to make sure that the cattle don't eat the trees, but I'll have them graze as much of this pasture as they can until the snow gets too deep. And then once that snow gets too deep, I'll move them out of there. I'll drive them right down this alley where you see Pablo walking. Come on, Pablo, I need you to simulate the cattle for me. Yeah! And so I'll have my little mini cattle drive. I'm gonna have a gate pretty much right here. You see Pablo and little Jin hanging out. So right in this spot would be where they drive out. And so the gate would swing out. So I just, again, have to drive them down that alley, in through here. And then this is their winter housing. In case you guys are wondering, I'm actually using a gas-powered post driver. This one here is manufactured by the folks at Rhino. I got it a little while ago. It is making life so much easier for fencing projects around the farm, and particularly next year when I have to do the entire upper pasture to fence in for the cows. Having this post driver just makes all the difference in the world. Traditionally, to drive in a T-post, what I would have to do is use one of these post drivers and do it manually. You know, it's not that bad if you're only doing a handful of them, but I probably have about 40 or so that I'm gonna need to put around the barn for the cows here, just on this project alone. Cuts my time in half or more. And I gotta say, once you hit 40, doing stuff like that, takes a lot out of you, and you got to think about your own sustainability and endurance. The gas-powered one costs probably 20 times as much as this old-fashioned metal one, so there is that trade-off too. I think it all depends on how much work you're actually doing with that given tool to determine whether or not it's going to be worth it for you. But all in all, I got to say, I'm very excited about the cows coming here to the farm. It's a milestone I'm looking forward to. I hope I can nail down a deal and get it going here with this gentleman. I'm not buying a lot of cows, I'm buying a handful, but it's gonna be a big step up here on this farm. Yet, at the same time, I know doing scary stuff is kind of one of the things I've enjoyed most about being here on the farm. Whether it's learning how to raise ducks, or learning how to raise geese, or learning how to trade a livestock guardian dog, or just even trying to figure out how to make this all profitable. I've enjoyed the challenges and I've enjoyed the learning that's come with each step. And I personally look at the addition of the cattle as that next big leap forward. Of course, I still have a lot of work to do before I get ready.